Welcome back to the final round here at Guardian Games. It's Modern Mondays. We're playing the last of 4 rounds of Paper Modern Magic the Gathering. We are Portland Paper. I am Travis Cooper. I am hanging out with,
Ian Lunger.
and what do we got for the matchup?
Looks like we have a little bit of Golgari Elves in the hands of Quentin Wolewski against Sam Deedle playing some Bant Superfriends.
Oh, so this matchup, do you have a deck that you think is going to be favored? We got an even matchup. What are we looking at?
Well, Sam pretty much is always playing some number of sweepers, so you can always count on Sam to be able to sweep the board of creatures, as that's kind of part of how this Super Friends deck is able to pull ahead. So I'm thinking that Sam has a slight advantage, but elves can get there even with sweepers in a lot of cases. It's oftentimes just fast enough to take off.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be in the opposite camp where I think maybe Sam has a couple sweepers in the main deck, but Quentin's just gonna, as long as you have somewhat of a decent draw, put on a lot of pressure fairly early, and Sam's removal is gonna be something like Path to Exile, which is gonna kind of further ramp Quentin. So as long as you have a couple payoff spells, I think Quentin's gonna be able to go over the top of Sam.
Fine.
Yeah, because Sam's depending on resolving some planeswalkers and them not dying, and elves are pretty good at attacking down some planeswalkers.
17 into birds here. For Sam.
So we might have something like a Dwynen's Elite for Quentin if you run off Nettle Sentinel on turn 1, hoping to get in some damage and create a little bit wider of a board. Or we're going to do the Heritage Ridge thing.
That's my kind of birds, like a nice old beat up white border birds. It's quite a bunch of cards for Quentin. Phew. Lead the Stampede finds 3 elves.
Lead the Stampede, I think, is a great card in Elves and any kind of tribal-based strategy where you're not playing Ancient Ziggurat.
Yeah, I think especially good in elves because they're able to play a lower land count too. So the density of elves is extremely high.
I played it in Slivers as well. It's also pretty good in that deck. But your sort of fringe tribal decks.
hmm
I wonder if Sam is holding up something like Spell Queller, because usually I think his deck wants to play a 3-mana Planeswalker.
Yeah, what do you do if you're on Quentin's side? Looks like we're gonna.
I kind of play into everything.
All right.
You have a lot of cards.
Quentin's elite. We're definitely going off on Quentin's side. We are making elves to make more mana, to make more elves, to make more mana.
And I feel like if Sam was going to follow this up with a Wrath effect, you would have played out your Planeswalker to maybe act as a fog to soak up some damage, or that hope that Quentin just ignores the Planeswalker and doesn't play into the Wrath, because once Sam Wraths, your bird's gone, and it's going to be a little bit harder for you to rebuild than Quentin.
Quentin rocking the always in fashion Dana Fisher elf token. We are always happy here at Portland Paper when players bring their own tokens, and especially if, the token's got some sort of meaning, or, in this case, Dana's a great poster person for elves.
Yeah, I feel like we enjoy flavor of all kinds. Tokens, card art, sleeves, dice.
Not tiny dice, though.
No.
Shut him down.
One player has a lot more permanence than the other player.
That's true. And still with plenty of ability to re-up here.
And at a certain point, you can kind of stop playing to the board because you got a pretty big one and just start attacking.
I think we're there. Although it looks like Quentin's really going. I mean, we're going hard here. So maybe just hoping to kill with the, help me,
Shaman of the Pack?
Shaman of the Pack. That's the one.
Or you can do a collected company. Will be interesting if you hit Azuri, then you'll be able to regenerate some
Wow.
number of elves.
Quentin playing Collector Oof main board.
Well,
That doesn't tell you something about how much, how many artifact decks we have here at Guardian. It's not even an elf. Just the artifact bear is worth playing main deck here at Guardian.
wow, we're going hog wild here.
Yeah. Yeah, is this Legacy combo elves?
Sam's gonna feel real good
Sam
when he
goes,
untaps
hold
and
on a
casts
sec.
Wrath of God.
Are we gonna get this Quellered maybe? I almost forgot Sam was also playing this match. I was just like, Quentin's like, we're just watching Quentin like goldfish some fun stuff. Man, if all Sam has is a path here.
That's not gonna do it. I feel like if you just have the path, you take all the damage as long as you're not dead.
Yeah.
Or well, I feel like you might want to leave yourself open to fetch. So as long as you can get a fetch land, I just take all the damage and save the path for after you rebuild, because
Yeah.
you're only gonna win if you have a Wrath here.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Sam down to 5. Yep, Wrath. It's Wrath or bust, I think. Coming in for 4. That will prevent Sam from fetching, which means this is probably game.
You path? You got the path?
Yeah, I guess the path, gotta fire the path off here, huh?
Yeah.
Yep, so we see the path. Quentin's gonna find the forest, yeah. If we're waiting this long for the path, I believe that forest comes into play tapped, if I'm not mistaken, but maybe Quentin's getting to it. Yeah, considering the number of times Quentin was able to tap and untap that Nettle Sentinel for Heritage Druid value. That said, I mean, it became clear pretty early on that Sam's not going to win this without a Wrath effect, so letting Quentin just play a bunch of stuff to the board, it's kind of whatever at this point.
Yeah, and you know, as much as I like Quentin, I really do love frying some elves, and I would very much like to see all of them go away right now.
Okay.
In style.
Well,
little player rewards, Wrath of God.
I mean, that's huge. That is the only thing that was going to keep Sam in this deck, or in this game.
I do think Quentin went a little bit over the top there with playing out all those cards when you could have saved some in your hand, and then be able to have a pretty big follow-up turn.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, sometimes you just start having a good time playing your game, and you don't think what you should do. You think what you can do. But admittedly, you know, Sam probably doesn't play that many Wraths, so.
Yeah, I mean, but at some point you think of what do I lose to, and then if you have the game locked up in other ways, just play it and maybe not lose.
Sure.
Looks like we got an Ooze and another Shaman.
So old Gideon.
Oh no, that's a Divine Elite. So.
Ally Zendikar.
Okay, so this Shaman of the Pact is going to be lethal unless we can deal with some of those elves. So Quentin might have this game either way.
What are we looking at here? 5? Okay,
Yep.
Big Gideon.
Nope. Yep. Looks like Quentin's taking this one.
Well, Big Gideon will force the elves to attack Gideon, right?
Yeah. Well, Quentin can play Shaman of the Pack before attack step, and Shaman equals 4.
Yep.
I knew it.
And Quentin shows off the Shaman of the Pack. Sam, a little bit of heartbreak here at the end.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. That's felt.
Sam noting that 1 damage from waiting to path the Nettle Sentinel until after the first Shaman of the Pack resolved ends up being the 1 damage that may have mattered in this game.
So Quentin not quite punished for playing out everything that turn.
Because I calculated and I thought, oh, well, I'll save half for Azuri.
It's tough. Elves gets going, and you're not really sure when you want to stop. And whew, Sam was really on the doorstep of stabilizing there, but yeah, Quentin just barely able to get there. The two Gideons together probably would have been able to just kind of close the door on that game, especially if Sam had been able to draw any sort of meaningful interaction beyond that, but tough stuff. For those that don't know, the key card that last matchup was Shaman of the Pack, which oddly enough, even though you see elves oftentimes attacking for damage, the vast majority of the damage that was dealt last game was not dealt in the combat step.
You know, I wonder if Elves is going to be a deck on Pioneer. You got Llanowar Elves?
You better buy all your elves now.
You got Dwindon's Elite. You got Shaman of the Pack. You got Collected Company.
Oh man, you
got
need
the 2-mana Lord.
Camzil is looking for a Jeskai control list in their life. I believe you have one complete with editions of the cards that you play.
It's true. If you check out our YouTube channel, our last week's VOD here on Twitch, I was lucky enough to play and get a feature match twice, and it wasn't nepotism at all. I earned it.
He did. We did not feature him round one. He had to get some wins in.
And yeah, I was in round 2 and then the final round. And there's a link to my deck list on our YouTube page, which is Portland Paper on YouTube. You can check us out there and watch edited matchups of all the matches we have here at Modern Mondays, and then some other events. And they're cut down where you can search them by, like, I want to watch Jeskai, and look them up, and you'll find it.
Yeah. Big Monkey as well. There is Titan Shift on the Portland Paper YouTube page. I know we had a Titan Shift matchup earlier today, and I know I got crushed by Titan Shift maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago on stream as well. So again, go to the YouTube page, and I have tried to categorize everything sensibly. And even if people like calling a deck maybe like blue-red Kiki, I'll oftentimes say is it, or I'll use kind of those clan names to make things easier to search. So
guild and shard names.
Yes. There we go.
Clans are in cons, but they're not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of that, if you like the stream, enjoy hanging out with us, feel free to give us a follow. Or if you're feeling like extra awesome and you have the whole Amazon Prime thing, or you're super rich and want to support us in getting equipment and maybe getting some other cameras in here so we can have multiple views and stuff, throw us a subscription. We always appreciate that. We got some cool emotes and little badges that you have if you subscribe. But, you know, even if you don't, we enjoy everyone hanging out, being active in chat, participating, and we love doing this every Monday. Do you want to show the cool emote that we have, Ian?
Yes. We have this sweet emote that you can show off if you want to show your old PDX pride. We have some PDX carpet. And Travis, wouldn't you know it, I have my own piece of PDX carpet at my abode at home.
Yeah, I hear it's quite tasty. Your dogs like eating it.
They do, yeah. It has been eaten up. It was in the shape of Oregon. Now it's maybe more like the shape of Washington, possibly Colorado. Yeah.
The emote is the old carpet from the Portland airport that just kind of blew up and people really liked what it. There was all sorts of Instagram pictures. It became kind of like a cultural thing for if you're from Portland, you might have some kind of apparel item that has that graphic on it. Is that accurate, Ian?
Yeah, pretty much. It has this story with kind of like the design sense of it. I believe there's like sea represented in part of it, and like ground and city or something like that. And you're just supposed to take pictures of your feet with the PDX carpet when you're leaving or getting back to Portland. I was just kind of a Portland, a hipster Portland thing that took off, and I don't know. I'm kind of a sucker for
It's
weird
nostalgic.
stuff like
I
that.
have warm feels for that.
Yeah.
Too excited. I'm throwing my cards. Twins.
Okay, so Quentin just building up a bunch of little dudes.
Did we heritage druid into something? Oh, Quentin is sitting on heroic
Intervention.
intervention. That card will stop a wrath effect.
Yeah, Quentin set up pretty well, I think, to deal with a matchup that is relying on board sweepers and not a lot of recursive spot removal with like lightning bolts and snapcasters, etc. Which I feel like Elves is a really decent. It's like pseudo combo where you're wanting to use your cards to generate more cards to play them all in one turn, but not quite infinite combo, or at least Quentin's version. It's a decent version of that kind of creature combo-y deck to be playing when you don't think there's going to be a lot of spot removal. Like say, there's a lot of Urza out there. You know, being able to play a ton of dudes and overrun them in attack is an all right place to be in. Do you think Sam's playing Settle the Wreckage?
I would not put it past. I've definitely seen Sam play Settle the Wreckage in the past, so I would not be terribly surprised. Although, I don't know, I haven't really felt like Settle's been that strong lately, like stronger than other Wrath effects, especially if Sam's playing like any Baby Teferis, where you could actually just cast a lot of Wrath effects at instant speed anyway.
I feel like that has been the card that kind of took Settle out of the modern metagame, where it felt like people didn't play around it for a long time, then enough decks like Jeskai and Blue White were playing a one-of copy when you wanted to diversify your Wrath effects against something like humans, but as soon as Little Teferi was printed, uh, Settle kind of went to the wayside.
Man, I feel like so Sam is blocking here and then utilizing the Field of Ruin. I feel like if this doesn't just completely, like Quentin's got to have a Wrath effect on his radar now. Like you got to know that Sam's slamming a Wrath effect next turn, and Quentin actually has the mana up for Heroic Intervention as well. So Sam might be a little sad when he slams the Wrath here. But yeah, the Wrath senses are definitely tingling.
Yep.
Here
Nope.
we go, Wrath, and just as quick, Heroic Intervention.
What?
I love, oh, it's so good. Sam just, the elves are not supposed to be able to dodge death like that. This is a tough turn of events for Sam. Just
Oh, that is a good. I like that.
yeah, such a
today,
god. Oh, Sam, it happens to all of us.
How much damage was that? A lot?
We gotta see. Oh. And Quentin just runs away with the game. I don't know. Sam just sitting on a hand of lands, hoping the Wrath was gonna get us there. And let's before we call it an evening, let's take a look at our hero's card here, Heroic Intervention.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to know. I wanted to make sure I didn't board it in and have it be stupid. Yeah. Oh man.
This is a card that I think because of EDH is actually like quite expensive.
Yeah, it is. I think maybe the second or third most expensive card in the set.
Yeah.
just really good when you're playing with a whole bunch of people and some politics and board wipes to say, you know what, you can't target anything of mine and it's indestructible.
Yep. Yeah. So kind of like, I never know. I was like, I think it's kind of medium art.
I think this is the age of Magic where I think they were going full on like video game CGI
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
I think it's awful. But what about the flavor text?
Oh, it's also awful.
Yeah, this is just like Hearthstone
Yeah.
Magic card.
I think the like card design was fine. I think through Kaladesh and Aether Revolt,
the
but
the set that got like the sets that got multiple cards banned in standard because they were incredibly overpowered.
but I wasn't really playing. Honestly, I played standard at the time, and I didn't think it was that bad. But in any case, yeah, maybe not the golden age of Magic art.
Yeah, it was forgettable times. This is like the mid 90s of comic books are the late 80s of baseball cards.
Oh man, careful, Travis. You're aging yourself here. The rest of our viewers are very uncertain as to whether they're even going to continue watching after you mentioned the 80s.
I'm an old person. I'm still relevant. They like us in Brazil.
All right. Well, it's tradition to do just one match here at the end. Oh man, we've sent Moldy Gold away. We're going to end it off here. Elves taking it down in the top tables this evening. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We really appreciate y'all being here tonight, spending an evening with us watching some paper Magic. Just such a treat here alongside Travis.
Yeah, and I'm not a ventriloquist. There's actually two individuals that are in the booth tonight, and it's always fun to get to cast with Ian, even though we sound pretty similar. But we're here every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with 4 rounds of Modern Magic: The Gathering. Sometimes we do some special casts. We do some Legacy every now and then. I don't know. Maybe we're going to be doing Pioneer if that's a thing. It seems cool. We'll probably get a couple casts on those. And yeah, thanks everyone for the follows, subscriptions, hanging out in chat, and hopefully you will you can check out the VODs and check us out on YouTube, etc. If you want to see individual matches, we usually get those edited and up on there in like 3 days or so. And thanks a ton, Camzilla, for the subscription, and we'll see you all next week.